It's not only news, it's science breakthroughs. Tomorrow's technologies. Advanced medical techniques. It's a glimpse into the future where we discuss artificial intelligence, earth and energy, enhanced humans, future society, health and medicine, space, robots and machines. Welcome to Science Bytes with Joe and Craig.
Today is Thursday, March 4th, 2021. According to the new research by scientists from NASA and German Aerospace Center, Earth microbes and even black mold could survive on the hostile conditions of the Martian surface.
The research could enhance our understanding of how Earth-based life could survive on a different planet, and could have implications for future space missions as well. In the experiment, the researchers sent microorganisms to the stratosphere, which is the second major layer of Earth's atmosphere above the ozone layer that most closely represents the conditions on Mars, and they did this using a weather balloon. The container was kept at both Martian pressure and filled with artificial Martian atmosphere. Some layers were shielded from radiation while others weren't. Some microbes, in particular spores from the black mold fungus, were able to survive the trip even when exposed to very high UV radiation.
The experiment can help us distinguish alien life from life that simply hitched a ride from Earth. It could even save astronauts' lives on longer trips into deep space.
With crewed long-term missions to Mars, we need to know how human-associated microorganisms could survive the red planet, as some may pose a health risk to astronauts. But microorganisms aren't always bad news either. Some microbes could be invaluable for space exploration. They could help us produce food and material supplies independently from Earth, which will be crucial when far away from home. Microorganisms are closely connected to us, our body, our food, our environment, so it does seem impossible to rule them out of space travel.
While we are on space, a new report released shined a light on the growing need for the U.S. space defense system, Craig.
Yeah, here comes the weapons again.
Oh, yeah.
Researchers at the Center for Strategic and International Studies called attention to the lack of defenses to guard against, yes, threats in space, in a new report published on February 26th, titled Defense Against the Dark Arts in Space. Kind of sounds like a Harry Potter thing. Protecting space systems from counter-space weapons. The study warns of the vulnerabilities of the United States' current satellite infrastructure that aggressive nations could potentially exploit. Nothing like having somebody else rain bombs down on us using our own stuff.
While space weapons might seem like a more recent development, weapons have been in orbit since the Cold War. Military projects have included arming satellites with ballistic missiles. As a result, the nations have begun to invest in technology such as missiles, jammers, lasers, and cyber attack systems to take down these satellites.
The report recommends a number of ways for the U.S. government to protect its satellites orbiting Earth, and they can be broken down into two categories: passive and active defenses. Passive defenses make our satellites and other infrastructure harder to target or better capable of withstanding attacks. They include things like awareness systems that could warn of impending attacks and dangers to satellites. Active defenses focus on taking out the threat directly. Think the best defense is a good offense. It includes measures like lasers to disrupt incoming anti-satellite weapons, as well as spacecraft that physically intercept and capture threatening satellites.
The report is interesting and slightly scary as we look into the ever-growing militarization in space.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Everything's going to be robotics.
Yeah.
Terminator, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But let's stay on space for a moment longer, Joe. A space colonization company has some bold plans to turn a specific kind of science fiction into reality, and that is artificial gravity. The Orbital Assembly Corporation's bold vision is to construct a gigantic orbital space station called Voyager that can hold up to 400 passengers, and then spin fast enough to provide them with artificial gravity. The best part is they want to get started as soon as 2025.
It will take many years to build. If the company actually achieves this incredible ambitious goal, Voyager could become the largest human-made structure in space. It will even feature bars, libraries, gyms, and a spa.
I want to go.
No, it sounds great, don't it?
It does. The company has plenty of experience among its ranks, too, including NASA vets, engineers, and pilots. The company is hoping to start with sending a smaller scale prototype into orbit 200 feet in diameter, which will spin fast enough to simulate the gravity of Mars. A gigantic robot called the Structure Truss Assembly Robot, or STAR for short, will then build a much larger Voyager space station piece by piece while in orbit.
The company has plenty of hurdles to still overcome would be an understatement. We don't even know if spinning up a man-made structure in space will provide the momentum needed to create artificial gravity.
And then there's the matter of money. The company is open for private investment, but even with the likes of SpaceX bringing down the cost of flying cargo to orbit, building a space station is going to be expensive. So far, the company has raised just $1 million, and they have a long way to go. Okay, it's time for a quick break.
Our national forests. We cherish their beauty. We marvel at their majesty. We embrace their heritage. But do you know how much we depend on our national forests? For clean air, wood for our homes, and drinking water for millions of Americans. So much depends on our national forests, but now they're depending on us. Trees have been devastated by insects, disease, and fires that burn so hot even the seeds of future forests are destroyed. The Arbor Day Foundation asks for your help in replanting our national forests, because so much depends on what we do today. So much beauty, so much life, so much that we hold dear. We must act now so that future generations can also depend on our national forests. Visit arborday.org. See what we're doing.
Welcome back. By discovering a new printable biomaterial that can mimic properties of brain tissue, researchers are now closer to developing a platform capable of treating conditions using regenerative medicine.
A key ingredient to the discovery is the ability to control the self-assembly process of molecules within the material, enabling the researchers to modify the structure and functions of the system from the nanoscale to the scale of visible features.
Imagine if surgeons could transplant healthy neurons into patients living with diseases or brain and spinal cord injuries. And imagine if they could grow these neurons in a laboratory from patients' own cells using a synthetic, highly bioactive material that is suitable for 3D printing.
That's what we're talking about here. An amazing breakthrough with far-reaching implications. The superstructure and bioactive properties of the material could have vast implications for tissue regeneration. This technology could be a valuable therapy for patients with neurodegenerative diseases and injuries of the spinal cord, but these proteins degrade quickly in the body and are expensive to produce.
Cartilage and heart tissue are very difficult to regenerate after injury or a heart attack, and the platform can be used to prepare these tissues from a patient's derived cells. These tissues could be then transplanted to help restore lost functions.
Beyond these interventions, the materials could be used to build organoids to discover therapies or even directly implant into tissues for regeneration since they are biodegradable.
We'll definitely be following this new technology.
Oh yeah, this is going to be so cool.
You know, another new technology is being developed is a disease sniffing device.
Yeah, this one's really, really cool. Numerous studies have shown that trained dogs can detect many kinds of disease, including lung, breast, ovarian, bladder, and prostate cancers, and possibly COVID-19, simply through smell alone. In some cases involving prostate cancer, for example, the dogs had a 99% success rate in detecting the disease by sniffing patients' urine samples.
It takes time to train such dogs, and their availability and time is limited. Scientists have been hunting for ways of automating the capabilities of a dog's nose and brain in a compact device.
A team of researchers at MIT and other institutions have come up with a system that can detect the chemical and microbial content of an air sample with even greater sensitivity than a dog's nose. They couple this to a machine learning process that can identify the distinctive characteristics of the disease-bearing samples.
The researchers say someday automated odor detection systems will be developed small enough to be incorporated into your cell phone.
That would be really cool, Joe. Could you imagine your cell phone would have it?
Yeah, this would be great.
What next? In the latest test, the team tested 50 samples of urine from confirmed cases of prostate cancer and controls known to be free of the disease, using both dogs trained and handled by medical detection dogs in the UK and the miniaturized detection system. They then applied a machine learning program to tease out any similarities and differences between the samples that could help the sensor-based system to identify the disease. In testing the samples, the artificial system was able to match the success of the dogs, with both methods scoring more than 70%. Okay, it's time for another quick break. We'll be right back.
What makes a rainbow bend? Where does the universe end? To know the world from A to Z.
Discover science and technology.
Where is the dinosaur? What's on the ocean floor? To know the world from A to Z.
Astronomy, biology, chemistry, zoology, science and technology.
It's fun, you'll see. Why is the sun so warm? What makes a winter storm? And what's a quadruped? Why is the planet Mars red? You'll find there's lots to know, exploring as you go, to know the world from A to Z.
Discover science and technology. Astronomy, biology, chemistry, zoology, science and technology. It's fun, you'll see.
A public service message from the National Science Foundation.
Welcome back. For a quick bite, we are discussing ways humans continue to evolve as evolution makes changes to humanity.
In 2007, a group of researchers looking for signs of recent evolution identified 1,800 genes that have only become prevalent in humans in the last 4,000 years, many of which are devoted to fighting infectious diseases like malaria.
More than a dozen new genetic variants for fighting malaria are spreading rapidly among Africans. Another study found that the natural selection has favored city dwellers. Living in cities has produced a generic variant that allows us to be more resistant to disease like tuberculosis and leprosy.
This seems to be an elegant example of evolution in action. It flags up the importance of a very recent aspect of our evolution as a species, which is the development of cities as a selective force. As we get better at fighting off diseases, we will ultimately live longer lives, so we can thank our ancestors for passing down those ever-important genes.
That brings us to the close of another show. You can find our shows on our website, mysciencebytes.com, and on all podcast platforms.
Joe and I are grateful to you, our listeners. Please like and subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to us on. We really do appreciate it. And we will be back next month with another new show.